Welcome back. Well, China has returned as Australia's biggest source of overseas visitors since before the pandemic. The Bureau of Statistics data shows more than 114,000 visitors from China arrived in Australia in January. Joining us live now is Chief Executive at the Tourism and Transport Forum, Margy Osmond. Margy, appreciate you making the time. Thank you. They're back, and I bet our travel and tourism operators are pretty happy about it.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt, because one of the big issues for us in the post-COVID environment was getting those China visitors back. There's quite a few reasons for that. We've now got all of those wonderful Chinese airlines back, perhaps more than we saw previously. And of course, January is Chinese New Year, so that Lunar New Year, so that attracts a whole lot of additional visitors too.
So, Margy, more broadly, have we actually returned to all of the pre-COVID levels when it comes to travellers making their way to Australia?
No. But we've made significant inroads over the last 18 months, 2 years. And I think what's also interesting is what you see as the hierarchy of visitors, if you like. So now China is back at the top. And then we've got, the USA, the UK, and then interestingly, countries like South Korea. And that really is a lift. So we've seen very substantial growth in the last 12 months out of not only South Korea, but also Hong Kong and Taiwan. So clearly there's a growth in that interest out of Asia to visit Australia, which is terrific news.
And on the flip side, Australians I see are travelling abroad in record numbers. Where are we heading? Would you prefer if we were travelling more at home?
Look, the number ones are still Japan and Europe. And I think the Japan part of the puzzle is because the dollar is so competitive. And the Europe one, I also think while there's a big element of let's go for a trip to Italy, I think there is also still an element of visiting friends and family, and perhaps people taking that a lot more seriously post-COVID, wanting not to lose touch with those friends overseas, so perhaps travelling more frequently.
Now, Margy, I know you're going to be watching next week's budget very closely. What's on your wish list for your sector?
Oh, look, I think for us, it's all about the border. We need to see a really significant increased investment in how we manage our border and people coming in and out of the country, making it easier, but at the same time much safer. We think also a little bit of extra money for Tourism Australia is never a bad thing, particularly with cost of living and the increased cost of promoting Australia overseas, and the fact that this is the most competitive tourism market anyone's seen in a very, very long time still. And I think it's really just about those services that support the tourism industry. We're not talking about grants or anything else to individual players, but we do think there's a real need to improve that border, making it slicker and easier, not just for visitors, but for Aussies going in and coming back too.
Margy Osmond, always appreciate you making the time. Thanks so much.
My pleasure.